The Jat people are a traditionally agricultural community in northern India and Pakistan. Originally pastoralists in the lower Indus River valley of Sikh Jats migrated north into the Punjab region, Delhi, Rajputana, and the western Gangetic Plain in late medieval times. Primarily of Hindus, Muslim and Sikh faiths, they now live mostly in the Indian states of Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh and the Pakistani provinces of Punjab and Sindh. Traditionally involved in peasantry, the Jat community saw radical social changes in the 17th century. The Hindu Jats took up arms against the Mughal Empire during the late 17th and early 18th century. The Hindu Jat kingdom reached its zenith under Maharaja Surajmal of Bharatpur. The Jat community of the Punjab region played an important role in the development of the martial Khalsa Panth of Sikhism. They are more commonly known as the Jat Sikhs. By the 20th century, the landowning Jats became an influential group in several parts of North India, including Haryana, Punjab, western Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Delhi. Over the years, several Jats abandoned agriculture in favor of urban jobs, and used the dominant economic and political status to claim higher social status. Jats are classified as other backward class in 7 of India's 36 states and UTs, namely Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, Delhi, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. However, only the Jats of Rajasthan, excluding those of Bharatpur district and Dholpur district, are entitled to reservation of central government jobs, under the OBC reservation. In 2016, the Jats of Haryana organized massive protests demanding to be classified as OBC in order to obtain such affirmative action benefits. History. The Jats are a paradigmatic example of community and identity formation in early modern Indian subcontinent. Jat is an elastic label applied to a wide-ranging, traditionally non-elite, community which had its origins in pastoralism in the lower Indus Valley of Sindh. At the time of Muhammad bin Qashim's conquest of Sindh in the 8th century, Arab writers described agglomerations of Jats in the arid, the wet, and the mountainous regions of the conquered land. The new Islamic rulers, though professing a theologically egalitarian religion, did not alter either the non-elite status of Jats or the discriminatory practices against them that had been put in place in the long period of Hindu rule in Sindh. Between the 11th and the 16th centuries, Jat herders migrated up along the river valleys into the Punjab, which had not been cultivated in the first millennium. Many took up tilling in regions such as western Punjab, where the Sakya had been recently introduced. By early Mughal times in the Punjab, the term Jat had become loosely synonymous with peasant, and some Jats had come to own land and exert local influence. According to historians Catherine Asher and Cynthia Talbot, the Jats also provide an important insight into how religious identities evolved during the pre-colonial era. Before they settled in the Punjab and other northern regions, the pastoralist Jats had little exposure to any of the mainstream religions. Only after they became more integrated into the agrarian world did the Jats adopt the dominant religion of the people in whose midst they dwelt. With passage of time in the western Punjab, the Jats became primarily Muslim in the eastern Punjab, Sikh, and in the areas between Delhi territory and Agra, primarily Hindu. The divisions by faith reflecting the geographical strengths of these religions. During the decline of Mughal rule in the early 18th century, the Indian subcontinent's hinterland dwellers, many of whom were armed and nomadic, increasingly interacted with settled townspeople and agriculturists. Many new rulers of the 18th century came from such martial and nomadic backgrounds. The effect of this interaction on India's social organization lasted well into the colonial period. During much of this time, non-elite tillers and pastoralists, such as the Jats or Ahirs, were part of a social spectrum that blended only indistinctly into the elite landowning classes at one end, and the menial or richly polluting classes at the other. During the heyday of Mughal rule, Jats had recognized rights. According to Barbara D. Metcalf and Thomas R. Metcalf, upstart warriors, Marathas, Jats, and the like, as coherent social groups with military and governing ideals, were themselves a product of the Mughal context, which recognized them and provided them with military and governing experience. The successes were a part of the Mughal success. As the Mughal Empire now faltered, there were a series of rural rebellions in North India. Although these had sometimes been characterized as peasant rebellions, others, such as Muzaffar Alam, have pointed out that small local landholders, or zamindars, often led these uprisings. The Sikh and Jat rebellions were led by such small local zamindars, who had close association and family connections with each other and with the peasants under them, and who were often armed. These communities of rising peasant warriors were not well-established Indian castes, but rather quite new, without fixed status categories, and with the ability to absorb older peasant castes, sundry warlords, and nomadic groups on the fringes of settled agriculture. The Mughal Empire, even at the zenith of its power, functioned by devolving authority and never had direct control over its rural grandees. It was these zamindars who gained most from these rebellions, in both cases, increasing the land under the control. The more triumphant even attained the ranks of minor princes, such as the Jat ruler Badan Singh of the princely state of Bharatpur. The non-Sikh Jats came to predominate south and east of Delhi after 1710. According to historian Christopher Bailey, men characterized by early 18th century Mughal records as plunderers and bandits preying on the imperial lines of communications had by the end of the century spawned a range of petty states linked by marriage alliance and religious practice. The Jats had moved into the Gangetic Plain in two large migrations, in the 17th and 18th centuries respectively. They were not a caste in the usual Hindu sense, for example, in which Bhumihars of the eastern Gangetic Plain were, rather they were an umbrella group of peasant warriors. According to Christopher Bailey, this was a society where Brahmins were few and male Jats married into the whole range of lower agricultural and entrepreneurial castes. A kind of tribal nationalism animated them rather than a nice calculation of caste differences expressed within the context of Brahmanical Hindu state. By the mid-18th century, the ruler of the recently established Jat kingdom of Bharatpur, Rajmal, felt sanguine enough about durability to build a garden palace at nearby Dig. Although the palace, Gopal Bhavan, was named for Lord Krishna, its domes, arches, and garden were evocative of Mughal architecture, a reflection ultimately of how much these new rulers, aspiring dynasts all, were products of the Mughal epoch. In another nod to the Mughal legacy, in the 1750s, Surajmal removed his own Jat brethren from positions of power and replaced them with a contingent of Mughal revenue officials from Delhi who proceeded to implement the Mughal scheme of collecting land rent. According to historian Eric Stokes, when the power of the Bharatpur Raja was riding high, fighting clans of Jats encroached into the Karnal, Panipat, Mathura, Agra, and Aligarh districts, usually at the expense of Rajput groups. But such a political umbrella was too fragile and short-lived for substantial displacement to be effected. States of the 18th century. Jat states of the 18th and 19th centuries included Kachazar ruled by the Dalal Jats, Gohad ruled by Rana Jats, and the Murzan state ruled by the Dhanua Jats. A recent ruler of the state was Raja Mahendra Pratap, who was popularly known as Aryan Peshwa. Jat rulers occupied and ruled from Gwalior Fort on several occasions, 1740 to 1756 by Maharaja Bhim Singh Rana, 1761 to 1767 by Maharaja Chhatar Singh Rana. In 1778, the Gwalior fort was again under the reign Rana Lokendra Singh, 1780 to 1783 by Maharaja Chhatar Singh Rana. Maharaja Suraj Mal captured Agra fort on 12 June 1761 and it remained in the possession of Bharatpur rulers till 1774. Sikh states Patiala and Nabha were two important Sikh states in Punjab, ruled by the Jat Sikh people of the Sidhu clan. The Jind state in present-day Haryana was founded by the descendants of full Jat of Sidhu ancestry. These states were formed with the military assistance of the sixth Sikh Guru, known as Guru Har Gobind. The rulers of Faridkot were Brajat Sikhs. Maharaja Ranjit Singh of the Sandhwalia Jat clan of Punjab became the Sikh emperor of the sovereign country of Punjab and the Sikh Empire. He united the Sikh factions into one state, and conquered vast tracts of territory on all sides of his kingdom. For the capture of Lahore in 1799, he rapidly annexed the rest of the Punjab. To secure his empire, he invaded northwest frontier province, and defeated the Pathan militias and tribes. Ranjit Singh took the title of Maharaja on 12 April 1801. Lahore served as his capital from 1799. In 1802 he took the city of Amritsar and in 1818 he successfully invaded Kashmir. Demographics. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, in the early 21st century the Jat constituted about 20% of the population of Punjab, nearly 10% of the population of Balochistan, Rajasthan, and Delhi, and from 2 to 5% of the populations of Sindh, Northwest Frontier, and Uttar Pradesh. The 4 million Jat of Pakistan are mainly Muslim. The nearly 6 million Jat of India are mostly divided into two large castes of about equal strength, one Sikh, concentrated in Punjab, the other Hindu. Post-independence estimates. In 2012, the Hindustan Times reported that the Jat people in India were estimated to number around 82.5 million. Republic of India. Some specific clans of Jat people are classified as other backward class in some states, examples of which are those in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and Delhi. In the 20th century and more recently, Jats have dominated as the political class in Haryana and Punjab. Some Jat people have become notable political leaders, including the 6th Prime Minister of India, Charan Singh. Consolidation of economic gains and participation in the electoral process are two visible outcomes of the post-independence situation. Through this participation they have been able to significantly influence the politics of North India. Economic differentiation, migration and mobility could be clearly noticed amongst the Jat people. Pakistan. A large number of the Jat Muslim people live in Pakistan and have dominant roles in public life in the Pakistani Punjab and Pakistan in general. Jat communities also exist in Pakistani-administered Kashmir in Sindh, particularly the Indus Delta, and among Saraiki-speaking communities in southern Pakistani Punjab, the Kachhi region of Balochistan and the Dera Ismail Khan district of the northwest frontier province. In Pakistan also, Jat people have become notable political leaders, like Asif Ali Zardari and Ina Rabbani Khan. Culture and society. The anthropologist Susan Bailey says that the Jats were non-elite tillers and herders. Military. A large number of Jat people serve in the Indian Army, including the Jat Regiment, Sikh Regiment, Rajputana Rifles and the Grenadiers, where they have won many of the highest military awards for gallantry and bravery. Jat people also serve in the Pakistan Army, especially in the Punjab Regiment. The Jat people were designated by officials of the British Raj as a martial race, which meant that they were one of the groups whom the British favoured for recruitment to the British Indian Army. The Jats participated in both World War I as well as World War II as a part of the British Indian Army. In the period subsequent to 1881, when the British reversed the prior anti-Sikh policies, it was necessary to profess Sikhism in order to be recruited to the army because the administration believed Hindus to be inferior for military purposes. The Indian Army admitted in 2013 that the 150-strong presidential bodyguard comprises only people who are Hindu Jats, Jat Sikhs and Hindu Rajputs, refuting claims of discrimination. It said that this was for functional reasons rather than selection based on caste or religion. Religious beliefs. According to Khushwant Singh, the Jats' attitude never allowed themselves to be absorbed in the Brahmanic fold. The Jats' spirit of freedom and equality refused to submit to Brahmanical Hinduism and in its turn drew the censure of the privileged Brahmins. The upper caste Hindus' denigration of the Jat did not in the least lower the Jat in his own eyes nor elevate the Brahmin of the Kshatriya in the Jat's estimation. On the contrary, he assumed a somewhat condescending attitude towards the Brahmin, whom he considered little more than a soothsayer or a beggar, or the Kshatriya, who disdained earning and honest living and was proud of being a mercenary. Jats pray to the dead ancestors, a practice which is called Jadera. Varna status. The Hindu Varna system is unclear on Jat status within the caste system. Some sources state that Jats are regarded as Kshatriyas or degraded Kshatriyas who, as they did not observe Brahmanic rites and rituals, had fallen to the status of Shudra. Uma Chakravarti reports that the Varna status of the Jats improved over time, with the Jats starting in the untouchable Chandala Varna during the 8th century, changing to Shudra status by the 11th century, and with some Jats striving for Zaminda status after the Jat rebellion of the 17th century. The Rajputs refused to accept Jat claims to Kshatriya status during the later years of the British Raj, and this disagreement frequently resulted in violent incidents between the two communities. The claim at the time was being made by the Arya Samaj, who saw it as a means to counter the colonial belief that the Jats were of Indo-Scythian origin. Clan system. The Jat people are subdivided into numerous clans, some of which overlap with other groups. In addition to the conventional Sava Kap Panchayat, there are regional Jat Mahasabhas affiliated to the All India Jat Mahasabha to organize and safeguard the interests of the community, which held its meeting at regional and national levels to take stock of their activities and devise practical ways and means for the amelioration of the community.